And speaker training comes in at the perfect time because it's how do you articulate your point of difference? How do you hold a room? How do you sell with certainty so well? Because you're going to learn the energetics of communication. You're going to learn the different archetypes. You're going to learn the states. Yes, you're going to learn the sales, like the sales step process and the state that you need to be in order to deliver it.
You're going to learn how to be remembered.
And we are here. And I'm really excited about today's episode because we have something exciting coming up. And though it is pretty well sold out, well, the VIP level is completely sold out.
Yeah.
And we're going to speak into it anyway, which is our sales and speaker training.
I am so excited for sales and speaker training. It is a training where we get to use real life experience that we've had speaking on some of the biggest stages in the world. And we get to translate that into people who want to share a message either on their own social media stage, on a big stage, on a corporate stage. There are so many things that it can be used for. And it's also useful for people to actually just learn how to communicate their message a succinct and clear way so as to not get their thoughts all confused while they're trying to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of a coaching call that we did today, actually, where this person's been showing up online because they've been wanting to build consistency. And they knew they weren't quite showing up right, but they didn't really know what was wrong.
Yeah.
And then we asked them some specific questions and we utilized actually some of the stuff out of speaker training to get really clear on their message. And they're a wild card.
Yeah, it's so much fun when you see somebody's really, it's their personality come through. And more than that, it's about giving people the tools to be able to articulate their own story and their own essence through whatever it is that they're doing, right? Because it's so easy to go, but there's so many coaches or there's so many this, like insert particular business. Like you can say that any market is saturated, right? In this day and age, like whether you're a plumber or you're a business coach, like all markets are technically saturated. And so I feel sales and speaker training comes in at the perfect time because it's how do you articulate your point of difference? How do you hold a room? How do you sell with certainty?
Yes.
So that people can actually feel you in this encounter. So it's not this like robotic, I help this person do this. It's actually like,
oh, you mean you don't have to use a template for sales?
What do you mean? No.
This is about being genuine, right?
Yeah.
And people can sense that a mile off. They can really tell whether you are leading from certainty or leading from absolute disarray. And trust me, a lot of people are leading from disarray.
Yeah.
They have no idea what they're actually doing. They have no idea what they're actually selling. They have no idea what the product looks like after they've sold it. They just followed the marketing script.
Yeah.
And it's about so much more than that because as a buyer, you can feel it.
Yeah, it's the energetics of it. It is literally the energetics of the sale. And I think about this in all contexts. Like if I'm buying something, and I was sharing this morning with our Elevate crew, it's like when you're buying something, if you're to buy something from someone and they're like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I can do that and it's this much money. It's like, if they could be the best in the world at that particular thing, but you're going to go to the person that's like, absolutely, I can help you get that. And this is exactly how we're going to do it. This is the pathway that we're going to go down. I'm going to be there right next to you. And the investment is this much. Like you're way more inclined to want to match their state or their energy. And therefore you're going to buying into whatever it is they're selling.
Because certainty makes us feel safe.
Yes.
Our nervous system thrives on certainty. It's actually what we crave all the time. We're like, that's safe, that's secure, it's in a box that I can quantify, I will do that. And we often see it with the whole, I've already been to one lot of business coaching and they gave me strategy and they said do step 1, step 2, step 3, but it didn't really work for me. And it's like, because you followed the cookie cutter approach instead of looking at who has real life lived experience and who is absolutely certain on what they do. Yet certainty as a coach can land you in a little bit of hot water because you're so direct and so certain that people who are a little bit timid or starting out can shy away from you.
Yeah.
They know they want you,
Yeah.
but they shy away from you. So you have to know, do I go full certainty and potentially scare people away, or do I play around in this cesspit of people who don't know really what they're doing but follow the script and might get a couple of clients here and there? And we were actually talking about this in Amplify early this morning, where someone said, I have been an entrepreneur for 7 years, but they've realized literally today that actually they haven't been an entrepreneur.
They've had a hobby.
They've had a hobby business where they've made a little bit of side cash that's been enough for an extra family holiday. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. But if you want to call yourself an entrepreneur, you need to know that you're selling something that solves a specific problem.
Yep.
And you're selling it with certainty. And because you're selling it with certainty, you know what it is. The client knows what it is. The nervous system feels safe and trust is built.
Yeah.
And we teach all of that in sales and speaker training.
Yeah. I know that I'm in this mode now where I'm like, I want to talk about sales and speaker training in general, because my favorite thing that we teach at Sales and Speaker is the archetypes and speaking through the archetypes. So you may hear this and you may think, oh, like the Jungian archetypes, which I think we've spoken about on the podcast in the past.
We did in the past, yeah.
And it's not that. It's something completely different. So it's the different archetypes in which you can speak through. And this is why I really love, I think you and I are so different in the archetype that we predominantly sit in.
Yeah.
And we both obviously can play in all of them, which is what makes it really fun to work with us or be around us, because there is that variety and that flexibility of behaviour.
You never know what you're going to get.
You don't know what you're going to get, which makes it so much fun. And when people can really get that, like someone said to me this morning on one of our coaching calls again with Elevate, said to me, like, how do you know when to deliver tough love? And I said, realistically, what you're asking is, how do I know when it's time to change through the archetypes?
Yeah.
And when you can learn that, and when you can learn how to smoothly transition from one archetype to another, that's when you can really get your clients results, because you maintain safety.
Absolutely.
Because you can have certainty in whichever one you're pushing to the front. So like I can be hard and direct, and then I can go straight into best friend mode.
Yeah.
And this is what makes me great at sales as well, because I can be bestie, and then I can move it into a sales conversation with ease, because it's a smooth transition through the archetypes.
Exactly. And if you're starting to sell, like if you're just starting out in sales and you're finding that the person is saying all the right things, so your client's going, yeah, that's what I need. Yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, I really want to work with you. Okay, I just have to check my account, check my husband, check my kids, check my dog, like whatever they have to check, right? The whole time they're checking, they're not giving you a check. Yeah? And
so good.
Did you like that?
I liked it.
So the thing is the reason they're not saying yes there and then is because you've come in with either the lover or the friend or even the sage, really. Like you've come in that archetype of I know what I'm doing, yet you've never transitioned over to that direct archetype where you actually pull it into a sale and get an answer then and there. And knowing how to do that transition is paramount in being good at sales. It's equally paramount in being great at coaching.
Yeah.
So, for example, I tend to move from the absolute directness of the sage straight into the mother or straight into the magician.
Yeah.
And it moves people from this place of being slammed to being love bombed, and it glitches their system, which is the whole point. Because people pay attention when something's out of the ordinary, when something runs differently to their standard programming.
Yeah, absolutely, which is exactly what we teach. Like overarching over the whole thing, right, is we're teaching people how to alter their own autopilot programs.
Yes.
And we're also teaching them how to help other people change their autopilot programs if you were to come to our NLP training.
Yes.
And speaker training is essentially that as well. It's like, what is the current strategy that you're running on autopilot? And how can we implement a new one? How can we refine it? How can we get some iteration happening, not just repetition? And I've really been leaning into that recently. It's like, absolutely, repetition is the mother of all skill.
Always.
That is a hill I will die on.
Yes.
And iteration sits above that. Like there's only so much you can repeat until you go, hang on, I've got to tweak something here.
I have to change the way I'm saying it.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily need to change what you're saying. You need to change the way you're saying it or the energy in which you're delivering it.
Yes, because it's that energetic undercurrent, that energetic thread that the language or the words is sitting on, which is ultimately going to determine how your prospect or how your client feels when they receive it.
Yeah, and we see a lot of people out there who are like, oh, I really want to do this, but I just need to learn how to sell. And they fall into the trap of following a sales training. And what I mean by that is a step-by-step guide to how to sell better.
Yeah.
right? And the step-by-step guide is never going to work because it's so much more than the strategy. Like everybody knows a 5-step sales process, a 7-step sales process, a 3-step sales process, but it's your energy that shows up.
Like, let's be real. ChatGPT can teach you a 5-step sales process.
Absolutely.
Or a 7-step sales process or like anything like it actually can, because it can give you the do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, which is where most people are going wrong, is because that's what they're relying on. When really it comes back to the identity, right? It comes back to the state in which they're in. It comes back to the energy in which they're throwing it out on, which is what we teach as sales and speaker training.
So for example, if we just ran through our 5-step sales process right now, and the first step is build rapport. How you build rapport is essential to the end result.
Yep.
So if you show up in bestie vibe at the beginning, you want to hope you know how you can transfer from bestie to authoritarian in terms of closing the deal.
I love this so much.
Because the bestie cannot close, right? The bestie will never close because you're just their friend. So when they say, yeah, I've just got to go check my account, or maybe on payday I'll do it, as a bestie, your only option is to go, okay.
No worries,
that's fine.
All right, I'll get back to you soon.
Yeah, so that transition is essential. If we go to build rapport, find a need is step number 2.
Yep.
So if you're inquiring as a bestie, people are going to be really open with you.
Yep.
If you're inquiring
as super direct and hard,
they're going to shut down because they're going to be like, I don't know if I want to tell you all my stuff. I'm not sure if I want to.
I feel like I'm being interviewed.
I'm being interrogated.
Yep.
And so you may have to change. Now, the magician is quite good at find the need.
Yes.
Right? The magician archetype brings in that, like, okay, great. And then I can see that this connects to this. And you're kind of weaving this magical pathway and leading them towards the sale. Right? Then what do we do next? We have to link the need.
Yep. Link the need to you.
So what is it about what they need that you can do? And this is where the sale starts.
Yep.
And this is the transition period.
This is where certainty and also like moving into that like jester archetype is definitely what I utilize here, because it's like, well, I mean, you know that I can help you with that, right?
Yeah.
And so it's having certainty with this like playful tone is really the essence that I start to link the need to myself.
Yeah.
Because it really, like, they keep safety and it grounds them in this like, oh, okay, we're playing. Oh, okay, yeah, I could see that. And it's moving them along that like chain of, okay, now I'm in the next step now. I'm in this next energy. Okay, yeah, I could see what that could look like. Okay, I want to know more. And they move into this like curiosity, which is met so easily from a playful energy.
Yeah. And so one of the lines I often say is, okay, well, we're at that part of the sales call now where the sales are going to start. Okay, so I know that you're probably holding your breath and you're kind of going, oh God, get me off the phone before she starts to sell me. I just want you to stop that right now and breathe.
Which is actually an accusation audit.
Yep.
We teach that too.
We teach that. We do teach that.
We do teach that.
We teach that in sales and speaker training. Imagine if you could learn how to do that in not just one iteration, but multiple iterations.
What did we do then? We went full playful mode. We went like full jester mode.
into essentially a sales process, right? So, okay, so we've built rapport, we've found a need, we've linked the need to me and you.
Yep.
And then what happens?
Now we have to actually sell them. So this is where we get that beautiful opportunity to showcase everything that they're going to get. And what I mean by that is like, this is where it's important to sell the destination, not necessarily the plane ticket. Yes, you want to give them the logistics. Like it's going to be X amount of weeks. It's going to be like X amount of structure. Like maybe if we're talking about coaches, potentially it's we do a Zoom call once a week, or there's chat support from this time to this time, however you run your container. But that's when we're going to get in that energy of, okay, this is what it looks like. This is the style of the plane, but this is the actual destination that we're going to.
Yeah, and I think this is where people get caught up.
Yes, absolutely. They just
people
chatter.
think that everyone needs to know all the details.
Yes.
And they don't. They need to feel certainty.
Yes.
And you don't gain certainty from being overwhelmed with details. You just gain overwhelm, which is the opposite of certainty. And so we take it down this path of stop talking about all the inclusions and start talking about the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. I would even suggest for people that are doing sales calls to have notes. Absolutely. I encourage everyone to take notes on your sales calls or record them if you're able to, because again, iteration, you're going to be able to look back. What are those tiny nuances that I want to change? Yeah. However, in that, I used to just do it in one little box in the top right-hand corner of the page, and it would just have 8 weeks, like this many Zoom calls, this amount of chat support, and it's this investment. And I was like, when I got to that part, like this part of the actual sale, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I used to have on my window, which sits behind my computer, so the light's on my face, imagine if.
Yeah.
That was it. Because that's the lead into that. Imagine if in 6 months' time you were speaking on stages in front of 500 people. Mm-hmm. Because that's the destination. That's where they're going to go.
Yeah, I love this. And I particularly love that analogy. Because it's like, I remember when I heard that years ago, I was like, fuck, that makes so much freaking sense. Because if I want to go to Hawaii and I go to the travel agent, I don't care about the specifics of the seat that I'm going to be sitting in, or like the color of the hair of the like air hostess that's going to be bringing me a meal. I don't really care about even the food I'm eating. What I care about is Hawaii. Tell me about Hawaii.
Get to Hawaii. Like, and what can I do when I get there?
Yes, I want to be in Hawaii. And what's the final step, Liz?
Close.
And would you say this is the most important step?
This is essentially the only step.
Literally.
And it's the main step that people forget.
Yeah.
So people get off the phone and they go, oh, yeah, she's going to buy. She'll buy tomorrow. Well, maybe she will and maybe she won't.
Yeah.
So you've got to close. And I want you to think about this like closing a door, right? You want a direct answer at this point. It's either yes or no. Mm-hmm. If it's no, it could be not right now. It could be no, I've got to talk to my husband.
Yeah.
However, if it's a yes, you want to close the deal. You want to shut the door to possibility at this point.
Yeah.
Right? You want to shut the door. So you actually want to close the door. Now, I've never seen anyone close the door without using at least a little bit of push. Yeah?
That's so perfect.
In order to close the door, you have to push. In order to close the sale, you have to push. Now, please avoid doing pushy sales, but it's literally the push over the edge from that. You've gone from bestie into curiosity, into authority. And closing is moving yourself directly into authority. And you always want that to be your client.
Yes.
You're not in charge of changing their life. Your client's in charge of changing their life. So once you've put it out there, you hold. We've given way too much value in this podcast.
I'm like...
Anyway, we're going to keep going. The essence of this, like that's just a brief, 5-step, a brief thing. And we go into depth on all of these things in our sales and speaker training.
The different archetypes, even like the hold, like that's, if we're going to speak in like the technicalities of it, it's the conversational postulate.
Conversational postulate is
when to use
so
it,
important.
How important it is through like general conversation. Like if you're at a networking event, like coming and learning these tools is going to serve you so well, because you're going to learn the energetics of communication. You're going to learn the different archetypes. You're going to learn the states. Yes, you're going to learn the sales, like the sales step process and the state that you need to be in order to deliver it.
You're going to learn how to be remembered.
Yes.
You're going to learn how to just leave yourself hanging so that when they're talking to the next person, they're still looking over at where you went.
Where did they go? She was so much fun.
You're going to learn how to do that and how to energetically create these little cords in between you and other people to bring them on your journey with you.
Yeah.
Because it's actually easy once you know how.
This is like, I think one of the biggest things is like, this is probably the most important skill ever. Because yes, it's learning communication. Yes, it's learning sales. Yet it's the embodiment of. Because when you come to our trainings, like, you're going to get so much. Yeah, you're going to get so much opportunity to actually implement it, to actually bounce with other people at the back of the room. And like our VIP, which I know like coming up is sold out. However, we have another training later in the year. Our VIPs, they're getting stage experience. Like they're getting the opportunity to deliver a speech and have us critique and give that feedback to them in real time. And then they get to get up and do it again. Like it's actually phenomenal. If increasing your speaking, whether it's at a networking event, on social media, on a stage.
Running a webinar.
Yeah, literally. You need to get in this room.
Yeah. So what's the main reason that people don't buy when they seem they want it on a sales calls. So there's definitely a whole lot of coaches out there listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm having these sales calls, but I'm just not closing. What do you think it is that's not there? And I believe there's two things. Mm-hmm. So one of the things is certainty. So if you're not certain that they're going to buy, they're going to feel that.
Yep.
And your doubt will create doubt in them.
Yep.
So remember that every single person is a version of you. And as you're looking at them on the screen, or as you're listening to them on the phone, or as you're voice noting them in a DM, they are exactly the same as you, and they will respond to the energy you put out there. So if you're absolutely certain, they'll be absolutely certain. Now, absolutely certain doesn't always mean a yes. They could be absolutely certain that they're a no.
Yes.
Equally, that's great because you've closed the door by the end of the sale. But there's one other thing that could happen, right? So it might not be related to certainty. It might actually be related to skill.
Yes.
If you don't know how to push over the edge or where to transition your energy from that friend to the authority, then you're going to find that you're going to get a lot of people saying yes that never actually seal the deal.
Yeah, or they'll say yes on the call, but they'll never sign the contract, or they'll ghost you straight afterwards. And it is this like beautiful refinement of the way in which you do it.
Yes.
Right? Like that is the skill. It's like you can look at the strategy. Anybody can read a script.
You can read the script.
But the skill is in those tiny little nuances. It's the ability to stitch from one archetype to the next. Because even as you were describing that, I'm like, oh, I can like feel it. Yes. Like when I first started doing sales calls specifically, because obviously we're selling all the time. And that's another key point is like you're selling ideas, you're selling yourself. Like you're constantly selling.
Yep.
However, when I started doing sales calls and I'm like, okay, the outcome here is to close this client.
Yes.
Like I could really realize in those early stages when I was a bit of a like square wheel. Yep. And I'm like, oh God.
Oh, it's really clunky. And you have to go through cringe mountain even in sales.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yes. You need to be willing to make mistakes and say the wrong thing. And there's been times, like I love this story so much, so I want to tell this story. This is years ago now, and Liz was my coach at the time, and it's like, it's hilarious. And I'd been practicing my certainty when stating the investment to work with me at that time. So, and again, I know we're giving so much away, but I was I was looking in the mirror every day, and after I finished brushing my teeth and I'd wash my face, and I'd stare at myself in the mirror, and I would say, it's $15,000 to work with me. On repeat, over and over. At that time, it wasn't $15,000.
Because I told her to practice whatever double the investment was.
So that I could get certainty saying a figure that was like way bigger than what I would actually say on the call, so that it would be a no-brainer that I'd be able to access certainty in that moment. Anyway, I was in this process, right, of increasing the investments to work with me and like wobbling a little bit going, oh, like I want to increase the investment and I'm too nervous to. So I kept lowballing myself, like, and everybody was closing, but I kept lowballing myself on all these calls. And I got on this one call and I was going through the process, right, following the process. And I got to the point where I had to say the investment. And I said, so it's $15,000 to work with me. And I was like, oh my God, what did I just say? To the point where I put my phone on mute because the first person to talk loses, right? So I put my phone on mute and I was like, oh my God, I can't. What did I just say?
Oh, I just said the big number.
I just said the big number. What do you mean? And anyway, she said yes, changed her life.
Like, said yes straight away. Yeah. No hesitation.
And she changed her life.
Caity, though, had absolute certainty in the number because she'd been practicing it.
Yes.
And so the feeling of certainty created safety in this other person, and then that person said yes.
Yeah, and this is the perfect example of like repetition with the iteration, right? Because I knew that the service I was providing was worth freaking quadruple that amount because I knew that I would be able to help her change her life forever, which in my opinion completely like...
It's invaluable.
Yes, like impossible to put a price on. And so I had complete certainty in what I was able to do. It was just I needed that repetition and that iteration of actually just stating it and being in the state and saying the words the right way and then holding, and it just come together perfectly.
And it wasn't the number.
No.
It was the feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Someone can tell you how much you should sell something for, but if you're not feeling it, it's never going to work.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most interesting questions.
Yeah.
that we get as coaches is like, well, how much should I charge? I'm like, well, how much would you like to?
Yeah.
What feels great?
You can make it up, and when you make it up, you then have to be absolutely certain about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that certainty is the driver. And I think one of the things here is it's all related to underlying programs that you might have. Mm-hmm. So I remember when you did that, and the underlying program that you had at the time, or you had just prior to that, was no one will pay this amount of money.
Yeah.
Because you came from a place where
I
that
had
amount of money wasn't. Yeah, you had
the
poor girl program. And that underlying program had been deleted when you came into NLP practitioner training.
Yes.
Right. And so if you're wanting to sell better and sales and speaker seems far away for you, then jump into our integrated NLP, because the programs that are holding you back get rewired there. Mm-hmm. Then at sales and speaker, we build on that and create the certainty and the ability for you to hold the different archetypes. And then you'll create a business that leaves a legacy, because it's not about making money. This is the thing. When you're selling something for $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, you might be excited about the money. And if you are, that's great. But it's never about the money. It's about the transformation. Like, I know the person who it was that you did that with, and they have changed their life so much.
Yeah, it makes me emotional.
So much, all because you said the wrong amount and they said yes, because when people pay, they pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like NLP, I could talk about it literally
for days,
for
weeks,
days
months.
And days, because I'm like, that is the number one thing. And like recently, like to speak into this quickly, like recently on my YouTube went up my origin story, right?
Yeah.
And my freaking Instagram has been blowing up about this. And which is so great. I love it. And like I had a beautiful woman message me today, and she's like, oh my gosh, I think I've watched this 5 times. Like the analogies that are woven throughout it. And
yes.
And the key thing with this is like, this is a skill I learned through coming to sales and speaker training. However, like in that, like the number one most pivotal moment of my freaking life, like, and I will never ever be able to like, and I know that it's not about, I want to say I'll never be able to repay you, but it's not even about, like, and I know that it's not about that, but it's the only language I have for it.
My whole theory is pay it forward, and you've done that.
Yeah, because it's like, that completely changed my life. Yeah. Like, you talk about that, like, residue of that, like, poor girl program, like, that program ran my life. And I feel like the sooner people realize that your entire existence is a series of programs that are happening at the unconscious level, like, we're meaning-making machines. Like, if you're not making a great meaning, you're not having a great life.
Yeah.
And you can actually choose to do something about that. You can choose to completely rewire the way that you see the world.
And then I'm sure that there's someone out there listening going, but I did grow up poor. But I did have that, like, that is who I am. Mm. It doesn't have to be.
Never.
You get to remold yourself whenever you want, whenever you actually decide. Now, you have to do things differently. Yeah. It's not like flick a switch, okay, I'll be a rich girl today. That's not how it works. It's literally, I'm no longer embodying that mindset. And as you start to embody the mindset of a wealthy person, you will naturally become wealthy, because it's the mindset that creates the behavior that creates the outcome.
Yeah.
Right? I used to run the I'm sick program. It was the mindset of I'm so sick, I can't do anything, I'm never going to get better. It was that mindset. And then when you change it, you're suddenly healthy. And it's like, wow, this is literally all held in place by a program.
Yeah.
If you're there thinking that you're never going to make it in business, that's the truth. You're never going to make it in business.
Yeah.
The minute you change that program to you are a successful business owner and you start behaving like a successful business owner, I'll give you a hot tip. Maybe you need to know your numbers completely with certainty all the time, right? When you change that, you are a successful business owner. You're embodying the principles, you're doing the tasks, and the behaviors are congruent. You will be a successful business partner.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. One little note, I know that we need to wrap this one up soon. However, I do want to have a little nod to a bit of a giant physically and metaphorically in the personal development space, who I know is a beautiful friend of yours, Tony Robbins.
I love him.
Because recently I listened to on the podcast shouting out another podcast. I'm like a bit of a grey area there. However,
I think that's okay.
Yeah.
In this case.
Legend, absolute legend. If you are somebody that's like, I like the idea of NLP, but like, what is it about? Like Tony Robbins uses so much NLP, it's phenomenal. Like in terms of the strategies that he speaks about.
Actually, what got him started,
which is amazing. And I know that his mentor, if you're familiar with his story, his mentor is like the OG of personal development, Jim Rohn, who I know that both of us have loved so much in the past before knowing each other, which is so beautiful. Anyway, he recently did an episode with Stephen Bartlett on the Diary of a CEO.
Yep.
I listened to it this week. It is phenomenal. And literally as I was listening to it, I'm like, well, that's the communication model. Oh, that's chaining anchors. Oh, that's this. And I was like, people need to listen to this so that they get a sense of the application of NLP without going, oh, this is an NLP process. So if NLP is of interest to you, I highly encourage you to go and listen to that podcast because that is exactly what we do, what we teach, what we live, what we breathe. That is it.
So if you're ready to completely change the program, to completely change your outcome, and to secure the sales that you know what you deliver is worthy of, then there's two options: integrated NLP prac, sales and speaker training. And if you want more on that, literally reach out to us right here or on our Instagram and ask us a question. Get on a call with us. Let's explore it because I know that you're capable of so much more. I know that what you're doing is valuable and you just have to learn how to translate that value to someone else so that they can actually see it and pay for it. See you soon.